To be the best sales guy or girl out there, you need to know every single objection overcome. You've got to know them like the back of your hand and nail them. Or you can just not get objections in the first place. That's the trick. It was something I was reminded of today. So this week, about 100% close rate. Absolutely nailing it. Feeling good. And today, partway through the call, my prospect, my client, is bigging me up for how I'm making them feel. And it made me feel good. And just the whole call, just the whole time was just leveling up. It was getting better and better and better. And when it became serious, and when I was like, look, you are going to fail if you don't do something about this, you make it serious, you bring them in, and you reset the tone for the seriousness of their situation and how you can help if you are the right fit. But it all comes from pre-framing, from steering the conversation in the right direction so that you don't end up with objections in the first place. I typically see loads of salespeople remembering these lines and struggling to deliver them when an objection comes because they don't understand the essence behind the objection and the reasoning as to why the overcome is going to get them there. So that when it's slightly different than the words that are said, they fall down. And then as they get better and better and more skilled, they get fewer and fewer objections. And this is the same experience that I've had. When we first started selling our maths tutoring, we got loads of issues of people thinking we were a scam, of it being online, of price objections, of all of these things, because there were loads of issues with how we delivered a sales call. Whereas now, it's super fluid. They come on in, we take their hands and we say, hey, look, we're going to get you your results. This is the place of authority we're coming from. By the end of this, you're going to leave with this understanding, even if that means we're not the right fit. Does that sound like something you want to do? Yeah. And then immediately they relax. And then you start getting to know them as a person and figuring out what drives them before even talking about their specific pain. And then you get into the pain and you figure out what have they tried in the past? Why hasn't it worked for them? Whose fault is it? How do we fix it? You're a doctor creating a consultation and a prescription that is specific to them. And it should be through your marketing and qualification process that you are the right fix. You shouldn't be getting to a sales call if you're not. Okay, maybe 5%, 10% slip through, whatever. But if you are the right fit, then you go through this process. You give them that prescription and it's you. And then you give them an offer so good they feel stupid saying no. And then if there comes to a genuine issue, not an objection, a genuine issue, because some people can't afford to pay for these things. Like, for example, we sell tutoring to normal households. You know, they're not businesses. Often cases, these are single mums with multiple children trying to run off half a salary. Like, they physically don't have the money, but they want the outcome. And so then in those cases, you have to work with them. And the trick to doing that is resetting expectations of like, this is what's going to happen. If we only do this much, this is the result you're going to get. Are you happy with that? And then working around that to still get them the best result that is physically possible for them within their constraints. Now, if there's a belief there that needs to be broken about what their constraints actually are, like if they're a really busy person, you've got to smash that through the walls, right? But if you have pre-framed them the whole way through the call as someone who is a go-getter, someone who happens to the world rather than the world happening to them. Like today, actually, in my call specifically, I said, you know what's really funny? You do all of these crazy things. You're 13 and you're about to become a black belt in karate. No small feat. And you still manage to do an hour of maths every night, despite all of these other commitments and school and all this other stuff. It makes me laugh because I speak to so many other people who don't have the time. They don't have the time and they do nothing, right? Someone who is as successful as you makes things a priority. You make time. And that's really good to see because I know you're going to get there. It's just a matter of how. And then you carry on. That pre-framing helps massively because you have just given them an opportunity to live up to the person that they want to be. And the moment they fight against that, that's the objection, that now their brain's not wanting to identify as someone who doesn't make the time, and so you don't have the time objection anymore. And you can do that with literally every objection that you get consistently in your business, in your company, in your offer. And this is why salespeople should get better over time, especially if you are creating the sales script. Your sales script should really only be handling all of the issues that people would say no for. Because if they come in ready to buy, there's no point in you being there, right? Your job as a salesperson is to help someone go from, I want a thing but haven't bought, to I have bought. That's your job. And so if there are fences that need to be jumped, and most people jump them, that's the whole point of the sales call, is to pre-frame these things so that they're not objections, or you overcome them, right? And the easiest way to overcome them is to never have them in the first place. If you can just lay all those fences down, you've got a clean runway for the takeoff. There we go. I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear. You probably wanted to hear super sexy overcomes. But it's the reality. The best sales guys don't get them. Right? And even if they do, they're not in the form that you would expect a classic objection to be. They're not a tough call. The objections then seem super easy. And it's funny, because when you are the least skilled at sales is when you require the most objection handles, which requires significant skill. So you go through this really horrible uphill battle to learn how to overcome sales to actually sell, and then you go to the next level where all of a sudden you get no objections. There's the trick. So if you are partway through this cycle, keep going because it gets better. And if you never get there, is your product or service actually that good? That's the question. I'm really intrigued to hear what you guys think, and hopefully this has been eye-opening. So yeah, there you go. Have a great day. 7 closes this week from 7 calls. Let's keep going. Peace.